am a naturopathic doctor, first Bahraini to do so. I am born and raised in Bahrain. I studied in the US. In the US, you have to go to pre-med for 4 years before you apply to medical school. So during the period of graduating from undergrad and deciding what I wanted to do, I had a gap year. And I had to really reflect on wanting to go to the conventional route or other routes. And then I found naturopathic medicine. I didn't know it existed, so you actually can go to medical school for it. It is another 4 years of the program where you learn conventional medicine and then alternative therapies to treat disease or early stages of disease, prevention. I fell in love and I just started practicing in March, and my whole goal is to bring this medicine in Bahrain and to just educate the masses. So every single patient I have, we talk about stress, mood support, and it's actually part of every single human being's life experience. For me, I always want to address the root cause. If the root cause is something career, and if it's anything that we can set boundaries with, and I can help my clients or my patients to do so, then we will do that. And then we also discuss stress management strategies like mindfulness-based techniques, breathing techniques, and then also using some herbal therapies to help with anxiety, mood support, and the way help the body adapt to stress in a better way. So depending on what their picture is, there's people that are more anxious and that's how they react to heavy, stressful environments. For anxiety, we use nervine herbs. These herbs are calming to the nervous system. They're known as passion flower, valerian, skullcap, hops, chamomile. The list goes on. So based on what the patient really needs, some patients don't like taking capsules, so we'll do a tincture or infusions and teas throughout the day. Just depends on what the patient needs. Some people need higher dosages and some people just need smaller support or lower dosages, so teas would be really good. But with anxiety, we do nervine herbs. Best taken at night if you cannot shut down your mind and exit that fight or flight state into a rest and digest state before sleep. So aromatherapy, I absolutely love it because it goes really well with mindfulness-based practices. It can really, some of the aromatherapy essential oils can really, like you said, ground the body and declutter the mind. I personally use it again before bed, and whenever I go to sound baths or do some yoga, there's always aromatherapy to just remind me when I smell these smells that I'm in a calm environment. And I love when the mind links certain spaces with certain smells, and aromatherapy always does that. You know, when you enter a spa, you're like, okay, immediately you're relaxed prior to the massage. You haven't even done anything. So I really like using those. In my future practice, I would love to have a certain scent with aromatherapy oils in the waiting room and in the room, just to remind patients of how amazing the experience was seeing a doctor like me. My favorite is lavender. I know it's very basic, but lavella or lavender oil has been shown time and time again to really help with calming the mind. And I really love eucalyptus as well. In general, aromatherapy just kind of helps us exit our physical body and enter a different state. So I love lavender oil for that reason, yeah. I would clean up their foundations of health. So I don't immediately prescribe anything because, again, my whole philosophy is not needing to have herbs or supplements at all, right? So we would work on their diet because obviously anxiety, stress will come from a healthy diet, like being able to heal that will come from a really good whole foods diet with anti-inflammatory foods. And then we work on their sleep, right? So sleep is the stage of the day where our body flushes out all inflammation and even the inflammation in our mind that causes mood instability. So we work on sleep, we work on movement. So you need to exert yourself throughout the day so that you can feel those endorphins and neurotransmitters, the happy neurotransmitters and happy hormones. And then when it's time to sleep, you can sleep really soundly and deeply. And then we also work on stress management. So again, mindfulness-based practices, your night routine, what does it look like? What lights are on? How long do you spend to shut down and decompress? So it's not one answer. I work on the foundations, And if the foundations, you've done them all and they don't work, then obviously you'll probably need more than one herb or supplement. But I always start there. I practice what I preach, so I will tell you what I do on a daily basis. So I wake up and I would have made sure that I got 8 hours for sure, non-negotiable. After I wake up, it's time for me to get ready for the day. I try to have as slow a morning as possible, but I try my best. But what I do is I get up and then have a small snack before I make it to the gym. At the gym, I make sure that I do cardiovascular exercise and weight training. So that's an hour. After that, I have a sauna at the gym. So the best way to recover, I do 10 minutes. And then I shower and then I get ready for work, come to work. Throughout the day, I have mental breaks, walk breaks, time for me to just take it easy so I'm not back to back to back. I have breakfast and then lunch and dinner. I don't skip any meals and I don't snack between meals so that my body can focus on digestion. Nighttime routine, so I get home, decompression. So I don't have any fluorescent lights on, very dim lights. It's a very calm environment. I wash away the day with a good shower. And then when it's time for me to get ready for bed, I put my phone away. Obviously, I use it up until this moment. I put my phone away and I either chat with my husband or just close my eyes, 5 minutes, body scan, meditation. On the days where I really need it, I typically don't do it every single day, but I really use that time to decompress because the body might be exhausted and tired, but the mind might not be. So you really need to basically train the mind to tell it that it's okay, we're safe, we're at home in a calm environment. And then I pass out. I get really tired and I pass out. Yeah, that's my ideal day. Yes, for me, I freeze. I enter a freeze state. So I learned that I get outside. I used to live in Portland, so it was so beautiful and it was easy to get outside and be inspired. Here, I go to the beach or I walk in the garden. I just find green spaces, but I get outside and I breathe fresh air, and that typically makes me feel so much better. But I do take a break. Whenever I feel so frozen, I take a break, get outside, change my environment, and I play music, because for freeze states, music is really good to move you. Although if you're like an anxious fight or flight person, music might not be the best. So it just kind of depends on what works for you. But for me, I change my environment and I get outside. So the body does not have an unlimited supply of fuel. And your fuel tank might be running low, and then it'll get to zero, and then you'll be completely exhausted. We call this adrenal fatigue. And with adrenal fatigue, you would have to take a longer break than you had anticipated just because you didn't take those breaks that you really needed, those shorter breaks. So I would say never get to that point, or try never to get to that point where you're at zero or negative fuel, because you will have to take a much longer break than you anticipated, rather than, putting in the time and taking care of yourself and listening to your body, and taking those small breaks to just replenish yourself here and there. Because again, creativity comes from us feeling safe and being well rested and being well fed. So you need to take care of those things, actually have those creative juices flowing. If you're in survival mode, you're not going to get creative. So I guess just make sure all your foundations of health are in check. Take those breaks. Just because, eventually it might be like too big of a problem that a small break is not enough. So actually there's been a research study that showed that looking at green or looking at plants release more happy neurotransmitters in the brain just by looking at them. So you always need plants in your environment, outside, inside. They are also air purifiers because, by the way, indoor spaces have more toxic pollutants than outdoor spaces. So just having plants that are beautiful to look at and purify the air are really important. I have a bunch of them, like different types. My favorite is a monstera. I love bird of paradise, but just make sure that they're everywhere. And if you're sitting in the living room or in a space that you spend a lot of time in, decorate it with plants, because it'll just feel so good for your brain and your body.